see you guys in the dark.
So I went on a Tinder date some time ago, and I was adjusting to a new city that I had just moved to. I didn't really know anybody there, so I just used some online dating apps to see the dating scene around the town. I landed one from a girl that seemed pretty artsy and hippie type. We had a few exchanges through the Tinder app, and then decided to meet up for a drink. I picked her up at her house. She greeted me at the door and gave me a hug. She gave the name of a local bar that she wanted to go to for us to chat and get to know each other. I told her I would drive, so we headed to my car. The first red flag I noticed was when I walked to my car and opened the door. She had just followed me to the driver's side and was standing behind me, staring at me. I looked at her blankly for about 15 seconds, asked her if she was going to get in. She said, sure, I would love to, and then went the long way to the passenger side around the back of the car. Since I had just met the girl, I figured she had just smoked some weed or something, as I kind of got a vibe that she was a stoner chick. As I was driving to the bar, she talked in a very low voice, almost as if she was trying to whisper. I'm not hard of hearing or anything, but I had to ask her to repeat herself several times just so I could make out what the full sentences were that she was saying. When we got to the bar, I made sure we got the best seat in the house, on the back, way away from most of the people, just so I could have a little quiet in order to hear her. The conversations honestly carried on as normal from this point on, and it was actually fun for me to be there with her. We talked about different things we were interested in. She did bring up the fact that she recreationally used weed and a few other tripping substances, like shrooms and such. I'm not much of a fan of these, but at least made me relax in a bit of my mind, thinking high that she was maybe just high off of marijuana, and that rationally explains some of the out of their behavior. Granted, I had a few drinks at this point, so I was honestly not thinking straight myself. I asked her if she wanted to go to my place after drinks. She agreed. When we got to my place, we had a few more drinks, and then she started talking about her jewelry. This is where it gets really weird. She told me her jewelry was her big secret, and it defined her. When I asked her why it was so important, she said, I'm actually Anastasia, and I was never killed in Russia. My jewelry is my link to my past. It was hard for me to take that seriously at this point, with how much I drank, so I kind of challenged that statement using a little bit I knew about history. At this point, she freaked out, started yelling at the top of her lungs about how I don't respect ancestors and history. Then suddenly she got quiet and tiptoed right up to me. She grabbed me by the neck and then brought me face to face with her. While still holding my neck, she says at this point, I'm a shaman, and I will curse you. My ancestors have destroyed many people, and you do not respect that. You are from oppressive ancestors, and they will be punished. Then she put her hand in a whiskey glass and made a cross on my face, and then kissed my forehead. At this point, I started to sober up a little bit. I talked her into calming down, telling her I was only joking. Then she started slowly getting back to normal. Then she started talking about her cat fetish. She tells me that she has a list of people that she tames to act as cats. I'm not about judging people on their fetishes, so I just listen in. She then tells me all the things that she does to them, starts acting like a cat in my own living room. If she had not yelled at me earlier, I might have just been turned on by it. My red flags in my head were going off. They were tingling like crazy at this point, so I just listened and tried not to set her off again. She noticed sage on my kitchen counter and asked me to let her light it and bless the house. Side note, I use sage to make my house smell better occasionally. It's kind of a ritual that I like to do, but it's mine and mine alone. Something I take very personally, and I like to do myself. I tell her no, she can't light it, and that it's my thing to do on my own. Then she freaks out, telling me that I am a horrible person and screaming all over the place. I tell her I can take her home now, and she turns to the door and goes outside. As I get outside, she is screaming at the top of her lungs that I am a horrible person and I should just go die. I tell her she can walk herself home then, and I go back to my place and I lock the door. She starts banging on the door hard. For about 10 minutes, she is screaming that she left her phone in there. I grab her phone off the kitchen counter and open the door to hand it to her. She tries to barge in. I block her with my forearm. She then acts like she is about to punch me. I just hold my ground and tell her that she is not coming in. She screams that she wanted the whiskey bottle we were drinking from. I told her hell no, because I paid for the damn thing. I slam the door at that point, and I lock it. I heard her bang on the door for another minute or so. I then hear footsteps going down the stairs. I waited about an hour, and then I went walking outside to see if she was still hanging around. I didn't see her outside, nor did I see her again after that. For the next few nights, I was creeped out, always walking around the area that I live in to make sure that she wasn't hanging around. I honestly hope that she is okay wherever she is, but I hope that I never ever see this woman again. I'm a 20-year-old female. I matched with this guy on Tinder a while back. His name was Nick. He seemed pretty cool, so I gave him my Snapchat. We talked a little bit, but it died out quickly. I didn't tell him the exact town that I lived in, but the city about 10 minutes away because it's a decent size and has a big population of people. I figured that he wouldn't be able to find me just by knowing that little bit of information. A few weeks ago, he started messaging me. We made small talk. Everything seemed normal for a little bit, up until New Year's Eve, the day before he messaged me saying he was going to be in the area, the city that I told him that I was from, and asked if I wanted to meet for lunch. I told him that it was possible, and that I would let him know. The next night, I had a New Year's Eve party with a small group of my friends. I spent most of the day getting ready and was not looking at my phone. About 7:30, I finally looked at Snapchat, saw that Nick had not only messaged me, but also called me. Hey, I'm in the area. I responded telling him that I was sorry. I just saw his message. He opened it within minutes, totally freaked out. He had said something along the lines of, just to let you know, I'm really not interested in someone who can't even answer the phone when I drove 6 hours just to go see her. I looked at it in disbelief, and for a second I thought he was actually joking. I responded by asking him what he was talking about, and that he didn't drive 6 hours just to see me. He said that he had plans, and that why would he have just driven up here for no reason? I was confused because we never had plans. He had told me that he was going to be in the area, which made me think he was here for work or visit with a friend. It is not uncommon for people to travel here for work. I explained this to him and told him we did not have any plans and that I didn't ask him to drive all this way just for me. He told me that he sat around for about 2 hours waiting for me and then bought me flowers. Again, I was confused because we never made plans. We never had a time or a place to meet and never confirmed any plans. You didn't make plans by just telling someone you were going to be there in the area. I apologized, but told him that we never had plans. He told me to make it up to him. I had to drive up and see him tomorrow. Yeah, screw that. I remember that I had my location shared on Snapchat, so he easily could have shown up at my house. I turned off my location, but kept him on Snapchat just in case he tries to show up at my house. Luckily, I've not heard from him since. And if he does try and come and see me, my dad is a police officer and has a gun. He will not be afraid to arrest him or do something worse.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell for notifications on future videos and become a stalker of the night. And I'll see you next time.